going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmissions, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's our weekly live stream where we talk about news, current events, esoteric thoughts or ideas, as well as our movie review. I know we're gone longer than usual, but again, it's Robert's fault. So
the first week
direct your hate to Robert.
Yeah, the first week was my fault. I had a work thing, and Andy was so upset the next week that he ended up canceling the stream and beat up kids for their Halloween candy.
It's facts. I literally did that. I literally did that. And we all know that in 2023, literally means the same thing as figuratively.
Exactly.
But yeah, the first week. Yeah, it was unforeseen circumstances, and so we couldn't put on the stream. And then the week of Halloween, it was planned. We were gonna intentionally miss that because again, I was stealing Halloween candy from the little kids, literally. No,
annual tradition. No.
Yeah. In that, I was helping out at my church's, fall, festival or for the kids. So yeah, we always planned for the Halloween Tuesday to be missed, but yeah, the week prior, that's all Robert's fault. So direct all your hate comments towards him.
I'll take it. Hey, I've already gotten some. I've actually had people not want to do stuff with me after some of my comments. So it's okay.
But yeah, we're back. We'll finish out the Schlocktober with MacGruber. Rob's most.
Schlock
this
month.
The epitome of schlock. And then we'll be starting this month's theme, which Rob, if you want to enlighten the people.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing something Andy deemed the universal twist, and so we're doing stuff that is movies that are obviously based off of the Universal monsters, but are kind of a twist on them. Whether it be new iterations or inspired by the Universal monsters.
Right, just slight tweaking of the mythology or the basic story.
Yeah, so tonight we're starting off with The Mummy from 2017, which has a really interesting history of how it came to be, and knowing all that, I'm like, oh, no wonder the movie wasn't a success. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah. Too many chefs in the gumbo. We'll be getting to that a little bit later. In the meantime, we'll play a little catch up since it has been 2 weeks. Since we had the stream, and actually since we actually talked to each other, I mean, we exchanged messages here and there, but actually talking to each other.
I know, and yeah, well, because we've been actually trying to hang out together for a while, but it's just our schedules have been kind of all over the place, right? Recently,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is actually it's refreshing. I was telling Andy how last couple of Tuesdays I just have a blank screen with his cardboard cutout attached to the screen that I'm talking to.
Well, what I imagine is a shot of you, it's a reverse shot, so seeing from you behind, and you just kind of looking at a blank screen and kind of reacting to your own reflection, pretending that it's me. Kind of like a parakeet in a cage with a mirror.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, you know what? That's actually more accurate. I'll go with that. That sounds more pathetic.
Exactly.
No, actually, the last couple weeks been I've been Cinemigos. We released a few more episodes since last couple weeks we did The Princess Bride came out, and
One of my favorite
most
movies.
recently, yeah, I had never seen it, so that was Heidelberg's pick for the
Well, I mean,
Cinemigos.
not giving too much away. What were general thoughts on the movie?
Well, to me,
Since you've never seen it and you haven't grown up with it, not like me, where I've grown up with it, so I have a bias. Yeah, I would like to.
I you're not growing up with it, and I came to it, and it's like I I understand why it's a classic. It's really good,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's I ended up watching it several times after that because like oh man, like because I wanted to make sure that I caught everything. I wanted to watch all the extra because I have the Criterion Blu-ray of it,
Mhm.
so it has like all these extras on there, and it has all these great interviews and documentary.
Mhm.
So you get to learn a lot about how the characters or how the actors felt, how the director felt, how the movie came together, and it's just that made me love it even more.
Right.
And then I showed it to my wife, who uh, she watched it, and she's like, "Yeah, it's okay." It's like what? She did not enjoy it very
Another
much. She's
reason for
like,
me to hate your wife.
"Yeah." What was it? Heidelberg, who's my who's been on our show. He's my co-host on the Cinemigos. He's like, well, technically, I've never met your wife, so I still have not never met someone that has
Who
never.
didn't enjoy it? All right. Yeah. He's okay.
Yeah,
So he's working off a technicality.
yeah, he's working off a technicality. But no, it's the movie. Like I said, I'm coming into it for the first time, and I'm definitely gonna be watching that again sometime soon. It's really good. It's heartwarming.
Yeah.
That's just a
That
feel good.
movie is just like it's filled with so much esoteric knowledge. It's kind of like and just basic knowledge on like just how to basically live as a good person. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
like with the whole in like the standoff after they get out of the what's it the fire swamp and
yeah,
then the prince is demanding that Wesley release Buttercup, and he's like he's I guess defiant. That's the word. He's like defiant. He's like no, and then the prince demands it again, and then you know Wesley's like is like death first, and it's just like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stand up against you know a greater power, and you become more powerful in that, and then which I think ultimately which ultimately is demonstrated at the end when they find and then when the prince and Wesley have like their final confrontation, and him through his like established good character is able to win over the prince's evil character.
yeah. It's just it's a feel good movie. The characters are so much fun. The just the quippy dialogue,
Mm-hmm.
the yeah, and finding out like what they went through to create that sword fight.
Mm-hmm.
That the Man in Black, which is Wesley and
Inigo Montoya.
Nico Montoya go through. Like it's just it's such a great fucking film. Like it's so much fun. And then you on top of that you have like essentially that's the story that Fred Savage is the grandson and is being told by the grandfather, and like so you get those two characters as well, and their interaction is fun. So overall, it's just this is that's I think that this might be one of the greatest films that any age, any generation can come to and enjoy at any time.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's I can't think of a film can that you watch as a kid, you enjoy it, and then when you watch it as an adult, it's like you get even more out of it,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
then you share it with
yeah, because this movie is filled with so much esoteric knowledge, like like the nature of a false flag attack. Like that was like the whole premise of Buttercup being kidnapped and ostensibly being framed. The rival kingdom is going to get framed for it, which then the prince is able to start a war.
Yeah, so it's like I said, overall it's just a fun film. The conversation is really great. I think it was a great episode. So if and then the week this past week we released our episode on The Gentleman, Guy Ritchie's more recent crime thriller, kind
Right.
of a return to form for Guy
Yeah.
Ritchie.
Although I really enjoyed his Sherlock Holmes.
I'd say but a lot of people don't realize that that's Guy Ritchie who did
True,
that.
true, true.
Uh,
But
Yeah, but those films are great. I mean, the first one a little bit more than the second one, but they're both really good.
actually,
Uh,
I think the second one. Here's the thing, like, because I think they were trying for it to be a series or like a
yeah,
franchise, right? But
it could have
they
been.
could have been, but I think they screwed themselves in a few ways. But I think the biggest ways that they screwed themselves is they went straight to the Moriarty and Reichenbach Falls. For those of you unaware of the lore, Moriarty is Sherlock Holmes's equal in intellect and cunning, and Reichenbach Falls is their final meeting essentially. It's like they have a fight on Reichenbach Falls in Sweden or something, and then they both plummet to their death.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
but
that's what you end with. Like that's kind of but yeah, there's so much more that they could have done with it, and I kind of wish that they had continued because
right. I mean,
honestly,
well, like in Guy Ritchie's movie, they do leave
it,
it open for possible continuation, but I think he did. Here's the other problem that I think, yeah, he one upped himself too hard. As good as the first one, as good as the first movie was, I think he outdid himself in the second one.
yeah, you know what I think we should do, Andy. We should next year we should do um, some like investigative thrillers. I think we should throw Sherlock Holmes into there.
Oh, sure, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd like to do the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films
Hmm.
because the other Cinemigos have seen them, so it doesn't apply to, on theirs. So we should do it here
Hmm. Yeah.
because I think those are both really good
Hmm.
films, and I don't think they get talked about enough.
Right.
Especially, I think they're kind of forgotten now, pretty much.
Right. But yeah, I think I guess those are the two big problems. One, he went straight like to the end instead of building Moriarty up as this as like this like if I'm to borrow a Marvel analogy, like this Thanos level threat. They went
Yeah,
straight to, they went from Iron Man to Endgame.
yeah. I would have almost cause so the one thing I found out about The Gentleman that was actually supposed to be a TV
Mm-hmm.
series. I actually would have wondered now could they have gotten Downey Jr. and Jude Law to do it if they made that into a TV series where you could do something a little bit like kind of have a little bit more of like a longer form to tell that story. You wouldn't maybe have the budget,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but I would have loved a film series like of it going, kind of building up to something. Um,
I think
I think that would have been really great.
I think if there was even at least one more movie in between, the first
There should have been.
the first Sherlock Holmes and Game of Shadow, I think that would have been I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah, where you have like so you start off with the first one, which was really
Yeah,
good.
and you
You
introduce
have
the
the second,
idea of Moriarty, and then you kind of like flesh it out a little bit more. Um, maybe and then maybe you even get like a reveal of maybe not like a full on face reveal, but like just like a silhouette or from behind.
right,
And
right.
then in the third one, which would then be the Game of Shadows, that's when you have like the reveal, and then you have like the face off and the conclusion.
Yeah, but if I had a preference, I would have loved to have it been a trilogy. But you know what? I'm like I said, I'm happy with what I
Right. I'm
got,
glad.
and
I'm glad those movies exist.
yeah, and but I to be honest, because I came to Guy Ritchie pretty much right from the beginning. I loved Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. And I didn't know that he was, well, not still making movies, but
Oh, he also
that
did
he was.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yes, he did. That's one I have not seen.
It's a good one.
That's I think
It's not as it's not widely recognized or appreciated, but I liked it. And again, it's one of those, and I think it was just about the time when Val Kilmer was going through like his health stuff, so like he actually has a speaking part.
maybe, or better yet, maybe I'll just do a Guy Ritchie month because there's some films of his that I would like to do. He also did that his version of King Arthur with Charlie Hunnam, which I have also not seen. But yeah, no, I've heard it's actually not great, but I'm curious. I think after we did Excalibur, I was like, you know what, I kind of want to watch some more like King Arthur stuff. But yeah, no, The Gentleman was the movies were a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, I love The Gentleman. The dialogue in it is just so sharp and so snappy. I love it. It's like Colin Farrell character as the coach. Oh my god, he's so awesome. Great.
So so my favorite character was Ray. I liked Ray the best.
Charlie Hunnam's character.
Yeah, but then Fletcher. Yeah, or it's like you have a Fletcher played by Hugh Grant, who is
he's practically unrecognizable. Like he changes his accent, his whole mannerism, because prior to this, like all we ever see him is kind of like the befuddled romantic lead or whatever. But
it's like
in this one he's like this slimy reporter type figure, and just like
he's a slimy cunt.
Yeah, a slimy cunt. There you go. Slimy
it's like
cunt.
I want Fletcher if you fuck off. Yes. Dude, seriously, this may be Hugh Grant's best role. He is so fucking great in this. And then you have
oh wait, dude.
Who else?
And then he was also in Hugh Grant was also in his collaboration with again Guy Ritchie in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yes. Oh, that's
another Guy Ritchie movie I really really like, and I'm really sad. I think
that could have been a fucking series.
Dude, that should have been a franchise. And again, I think Guy Ritchie outdid himself in that one movie.
Dude, okay. So next year, here's how the sausage is made. So we're gonna do a Guy Ritchie month. We're gonna do the 2 Sherlock Holmes films, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Okay. All right. Well, we have 1 month done.
I already have some ideas. So I have some stuff planned already for like some ideas for next year that I'm gonna send you. But I'm coming up with that now. I'm actually gonna write it down so I don't forget.
Right.
So check out the Gentleman episode. Go check out the Princess Bride, or if you have not listened to any of the Cinemigos, go and check out those episodes. There's some really great stuff that we're putting out. And episode 8 is coming out this week, which is going to be my pick, which is A Fistful of Dollars. So completely different from what everyone else is picking,
right,
of course.
Yeah, but Gentlemen, it's really good.
Yes, it is.
Like I would dare say. I mean, I haven't really critically analyzed it, but I would hazard to say that that's a damn near perfect movie.
Dude, thank you. I say that myself. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. should have been one more popular. It should have been a movie series. That could have also been like a really great trilogy of movies, or it could have turned into like another Mission Impossible style franchise. Because damn, dude, it's so good.
Yeah, and just Henry Cavill and even what's his face, Armie Hammer. He puts in a pretty good performance too.
Dude, he's so good in that.
Oh God, Who's that girl? Who's the girl in there?
Oh, she's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
drawing.
Okay, I almost have it. Yeah, 'cause she was in God, Ex Machina. She was in that
She was
Tomb Raider movie. She was
the robot from Ex Machina, right?
Um,
Oh fuck, what was her name? But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, she's great in it.
God. Ava? No. God. Yeah. I remember having a crush on her a little.
She's pretty. She's a
Yeah,
looker.
she's a looker.
Oh
Well. That'll probably come to me later down the line.
of course, you wake up at 3 in the morning. I was like, oh yeah,
that's her
fuck,
name.
that's her name.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I also had another. I had a guest appearance on another show actually that a guy reached out to me on Twitter. A guy by the name of Philip Duke. He is he runs a podcast called Making Tarantino, the podcast, and the premise is that he does he reviews movies that that influenced or inspired Quentin Tarantino to for his movies. And so I came on to review a movie called The Great Silence, which is a spaghetti western by Sergio Corbucci, which is a brilliant film. It's a great if you're, I mean, obviously I love Sergio Leone, but like the other Sergio, as he's known, is also really good. He did the original Django, he did The Great Silence, and he did a whole bunch of other spaghetti westerns that are really great. So it was kind of fun going on that show. Kind of,
the actor who played the original Django is the manager of the Rome Continental in John Wick Chapter 2.
That's Franco Nero? What? How did I not recognize him? Oh my god! I had no idea that was Franco Nero. Fuck, now I'm gonna have to go back and like watch this. This is fucking awesome. That blew my fucking mind. Dude. Well, it's also kind of funny. I don't know. I noticed this coming back to watching Django Unchained because Franco Nero makes an appearance in that film.
Yeah.
And his spoiler, his hands get all fucked up in Django. And so in Django Unchained, like when he meets Jamie Foxx's character, and you see his hands like wrapped up in gauze. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a nod to that to the original Django. But man, that's crazy. I did not know that was Franco Nero. Surprise. But now I'm like, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like it makes total sense. Because I was watching a documentary that Tarantino put on called Django and Django, and they interviewed Franco Nero. It's like, oh, I mean, obviously I know what Franco Nero looks like. It was like, man, like he does. Now I'm thinking about it, it's like, yeah, that's totally him from freaking John Wick 2. Son of a bitch. Yeah. But yeah, so I've been pretty busy doing stuff for the Cinemigos while we've been off the last couple of weeks. I was on another podcast doing some stuff. We're actually gonna schedule something with the guy from Making Tarantino to come on as a guest for us. So we'll work on that. But yeah, it's been a pretty fun 2 weeks. I mean, I missed you obviously, but other than that, I've been having some fun.
Cool.
What have you been up to, Andy? Like you beat up kids for their Halloween candy last week, but anything exciting on your end?
Yeah, I mean, you're getting scrappier every year, or I'm just getting older every year. But maybe as a challenge, I'll try to take candy from kids from like in Crenshaw or Inglewood. Um,
Oh yeah, I need to bring some weapons for that
all
one.
right. For me, not a whole lot. Just been working. Uh, not. I mean, because in terms of the shop that I've been working at, there's some news, but I don't want to divulge just yet because things aren't, because I'm not in a position to divulge, so I'm not gonna say. But
Yeah.
things are
So
happening at the shop. I think for the best. And it does signify growth for the company. So yeah,
okay,
I'll leave it
cool.
at that. Uh,
Optimistic things happening.
Optimistic things happening. So uh, yeah, of course I went and stole those kids' Halloween candy. That was fun. It's always nice, seeing the kids, happy and having an alternative to going out and trick or treating. I don't know. It's for me. It's a little sad because I don't. Well, I mean, I don't directly live in like a neighborhood. I live on like kind of like the outskirts of like a neighborhood, so I don't see too many kids uh, going around trick or treating. Um, so that saddens me a bit because
You know what?
it wasn't
Yeah,
like when we were growing up and Halloween and like the streets were practically filled with kids and their parents going out and getting candy and whatever, just having a good old time.
yeah, yeah. It's not like it was like when we were growing up at all. Um, I don't know. It was fun, just like going out with your friends and just like walking around and door to door getting candy, and you had fun. And I know it's like some people would think like especially like in our community with the Christian community, it's like, oh, Halloween is evil. It's like it's not, okay? Like it's not. It's a fun holiday that people get to you know dress up
Right.
and
I
have some
mean, yes.
fun.
Are the roots pagan? Sure, but I mean, so is the Christmas
Of
tree.
course, yeah,
So is mistletoe. But can they not can they not be redeemed? Can they not be redeemed? I mean, obviously, in the case of Christmas, yeah, like the whole, bringing in a tree, like well, it's like it's expressly said like not to bring in a tree like the pagans. But yeah, we still do.
yeah,
We adopted, the fertility rituals, like the mistletoe, kissing under the
yeah.
mistletoe, um, and all that sort of stuff. But we're somehow able to redeem those pagan things, but we're not able to redeem Halloween. I mean, I understand, like, especially for like the adults kind of Halloween with like the slutty costumes and whatever. Sure, all right, they're a couple steps shy of Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, I'll give you that.
Ladies keep wearing those
All
slutty
right.
costumes. We like it. We
No, 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 Robert. We hate that, ladies. All right,
oh
we
yeah,
absolutely
no,
hate
yeah,
that you wear those skin tight outfits and sexualize yourselves. Don't do that
ah,
again.
ah,
How dare
yeah,
you?
it's like let me my pearls
I
over
know.
here.
If
Uh,
I had some pearls, I'd be clutching them right now. Um,
yeah, the oh my gosh.
uh,
But yeah, I
but
don't
yeah,
know,
I'm
man.
like,
Like
yeah. For
for me,
me, I haven't come down on whether or not Halloween is irredeemable or whatever. Um, I just like there to be another option for kids.
yeah, like okay, maybe don't dress like as the devil, but like there's so many like dressing up as like a superhero or something like fun like a zombie or whatever the hell you want to dress up as, like that's totally fine. Like it's fun. It's a way you get to be with your peers and you get some candy, you have some innocent fun. I know me, like I like to watch some, well maybe not, it's like I don't necessarily watch anything like super scary, but one of my Halloween rituals is I like to watch the Universal Monster movies or something, of that nature, or throughout Halloween. And actually, Criterion did not let me down this month. They had one of their big themes for October was so 1930s horror films, like pre-code horror. So you had Murders in the Rue Morgue, um, Island of Lost Souls, Freaks, stuff like that. So I end up watching a lot of those, and I don't know, man. Like that's just to me, that's what October and Halloween is all about. It's just you get to do something fun. You get to dress up and hang out with your friends and watch scary stuff and eat some candy, and it's all in good fun. And guess what? No pentagrams were drawn, and I was not trying to summon Satan and whatever other bullshit that people think that, like, if you even attempt to celebrate Halloween, you're actually doing.
Right. I mean, yeah. Again, like there are obviously things that we adopted from the pagans, like Christmas, where it's like the it's the festival of Saturn, um, that's like a 5 day or a week long party at the end of the year.
Yeah,
And again, like the fertility ritual of like kissing under the mistletoe, which is obviously from like Norwegian, like Scandinavian culture. Um, but but we're somehow able to integrate those into our faith. I mean, even with Easter, Easter happens around springtime, and and again, it's another fertility rituals. Because what are the symbols of Easter? A rabbit and a chick. The chick symbolizing rebirth, and then the rabbit symbolizing fertility. I mean,
yeah.
we don't
And so
call
you,
those things evil. And even the Easter egg hunt. That's another that's again that's a pagan thing about training up your kids and how to find eggs.
yeah, honestly, I think if you were like super fundamentalist, like you wouldn't celebrate
Right,
anything.
I know.
It's like if you think about it, it's like you might celebrate like I mean, what would you celebrate at
I
that point?
mean, I think it'd be okay if you celebrate the resurrection, but not in like not with the adoption of like the pagan, totems or things like that, like the chicken, the rabbit.
This is the real celebration of
Right,
Jesus. It's like it's
right.
like yeah, it's lame. It's like, and the thing is, like, not only has it happened for holidays, but it happens for songs too. A lot of hymns are they were old like ballads or like bar themes that were sung in like the old inns and taverns that were secular songs that uh people like oh well, that melody is nice, let me, and then they added their own like lyrics to it, which has been happening in music
I know,
forever,
right? The
for
like
one.
the idea of like the remix or whatever not a new idea, not a new creation. It's been happening forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, even look at what's that one song that you probably they taught you my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty.
Yeah.
That's that the melody that's taken from the it's not the anthem for Great Britain.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I don't know the words
So
for the anthem of Great Britain, but I know I know the melody. I know the music is
yeah.
the same because yeah, but who cares about who cares about England?
Yeah. But no, it's just so yeah. You can have. I choose to. I don't think that everything is like satanic or like demonic. I think there's a lot of things that are very now there are very specific things that are things that we shouldn't even fuck around with. But for the most part,
Yeah, like I don't think we should be messing. I
things
don't think
are
kids should be messing around with Ouija boards.
yeah, that would be something where I'm like, throw
Throw that
that
shit. Yeah, throw
chuck
that
that
shit in the
shit in
fire.
the yeah. Now horror movies that mess with that, well that's just good fun because like why wouldn't you create a horror film based off of that? Fuck that. That'd be awesome. But as far as like actually trying to mess with that or like your tarot cards and drawing pentagrams and shit like that, don't even fuck around with that shit. Like it's just because I mean a lot of those people are charlatans, but there's a reason why they're not saying in the Bible don't mess around with this stuff because like it's all fake. It's
No,
like
yeah, because
no,
it's
it's because
real.
it's real.
Like it's
Yeah, you're messing with powers you don't
yeah,
understand.
yeah. I mean, like on the bot, they used to sell. Yeah, they used to sell the Ouija boards as toys as kids. Like I remember, like there was still.
But
Yeah, from
Hasbro,
Hasbro. There were still commercials for it in the '90s. I remember them. It's like a bunch of kids and they're playing with it and they're like all accusing each other of like moving it. It's like no, it's like you're moving it. It's like no, you're moving it. But it's like if you read
yeah.
on the thing, like it tells you like how to use it and like how to you're basically opening a line to like like a spiritual realm. But they never tell you how. I don't think there's instructions on how to close that door.
Nope.
So it's like okay, it's like it's left open, so anything can come in.
Yeah,
But
but
that's what I did uh, for Halloween and looking forward to Thanksgiving though. I mean, not to
that's right.
I know I'm kicking Halloween out the bus here. Tuck and roll Halloween, tuck and roll. But Thanksgiving coming up, so yeah, I think this year I'm gonna fry another turkey.
Oh, dude, I mean, just cut me off like a small piece. I just want to try it. Like, I haven't had fried turkey in so
Yeah.
long. The but what I was gonna say is like what you can tell is like if kids if some of your church kids that are trying to mess with the Ouija boards, it's like I opened the spiritual realm and look what happened to my hands.
Yeah, no, I mean that's not too far off of what I tell kids. When they ask me about what happened in my hands, and I was just messing around with them and be like, I ate too much candy. And I would I kind of enforce in their minds like this is what happens if you eat too much candy. So don't eat too much candy. And so I definitely brought that out on Halloween when the kids were asking, oh, what happened to your hands? It's like kind of like looking like forlornly. It's like this is what happens when you eat too much candy, kids. All right, so don't eat too much candy.
Or when you tell them it's like of your favorite candy, it's like don't eat too much
I know,
Snickers
right? It's
bars.
like, yeah,
And
so you better give me all your Snickers. Actually, that's because Snickers is actually my favorite candy bar or chocolate bar.
Oh, dude, I totally guessed. I was like,
Yeah, I was always a Snickers kid growing up. I guess now I'm a Snickers man. I'm really upset that they discontinued the Snickers peanut butter squares. Man, those are delicious.
dude, right? Those are
I know.
so
I don't know why they
awesome.
discontinued them.
God,
Yeah,
bastards.
I remember. Oh, just before Halloween, I did find two bags at my Walmart close by,
Oh,
and so
nice.
I for sure grabbed those up.
You know what the one that the candy bar that I really like. So I'm a big fan of
Mm.
Reese's, but I love the Reese's Fast Break
Ooh.
bars.
So you
Those are
like
so
you're into like the crunchy, salty, sweet thing.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in certain occasions, I'm for that too. That and 100 grand.
Oh, dude, yes. Though that's probably my second favorite candy
Mm.
bar.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, all right. Well, that's good. You were telling kids not to open up the spiritual realm and like don't eat Snickers or you'll turn into you. And I was off just fucking around with movies and all that kind of fun stuff. So we had a good fun 2 weeks. We need to hang out soon. That we need to do something.
Indeed.
We'll have to find some time. You'll have to fry me up a turkey.
Or maybe just like a little tiny, Cornish game hen.
Or they're even better. And what I'll
stuffed
make
with
sure to do
risotto.
is that
Dang, actually, that sounds pretty good.
ooh, that does sound good. The what I was saying is like you can make it especially for me, and I'll eat it in front of my wife, and she won't get any.
That's how I'll do it.
I actually kind of want it. I don't think I've ever had Cornish game hen.
I don't think I have either. I've had tiny chickens, but I've never had Cornish game hen. Excited to try. Though excited to try.
I of course, me too.
All right. Do you want to do? Oh, because like we don't really technically have a second topic per se, but do you want to do sandwich again?
Let's do the shit sandwich.
Or
Let's do
not
it.
so much shit sandwich because yeah. Well, because I mean the only really shitty movie is MacGruber.
Well, it's a dry turd with like the messy turd in the middle, with like kind of like the the plain bread on the bottom.
All right. Okay. So yeah, we'll start off tonight, even though we went pretty long with the catch up, but that's okay. Let's get into our movie review. Let's close out Schlocktober. We'll finish off October with our movie review for MacGruber from 2010. Originally a skit from SNL. You know, Spirit. Starring Will Forte as kind of this parody of the non-action hero MacGyver.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll hit everyone with the synopsis and we can get going. This is the synopsis for MacGruber. After his wife is murdered, decorated soldier of fortune MacGruber turned his back on a life of violence. But when her killer, arms dealer Dieter von Kumpf, steals a nuclear warhead, the all-American hero leaps back into action. MacGruber assembles a crack team, including young police. That's wrong. Young Lieutenant Dixon Piper and old friend Vicky St. Elmo, and with their help, battles to stop his arch nemesis destroying Washington, D.C.
Now, did you watch this in theaters like I did? Yeah, good for you.
I dodged a bullet on that one.
Oh my god, it was fucking awful. Like it just. Now like I said, I love the sketches on SNL of MacGruber. They make me laugh, and I was like, okay, maybe this time the SNL maybe it'll redeem itself. Maybe I'll finally get like Wayne's World or God, I mean, even like a lesser, maybe to a lesser extent, Coneheads. It's like maybe I'll get something like that's like somewhat entertaining. And I like Will Forte. I think he's a funny guy. You also have what I didn't realize is that this was directed by one of the guys from The Lonely Island, and not Andy Samberg. Right. It's the other dude, one of the other dudes. But yeah, man, this movie this movie is so like it has such a star-studded cast, and it goes fucking nowhere with it. It's bad. It's real bad.
Oh yeah, very bad. Drugs bad, me bad.
It didn't even like so. This film had a $10 million budget. It made 9. It didn't even
Didn't even make back its
and this
money?
is after.
It didn't even break even.
No, and this is after what? Now we're going on to what? 13 years. Yeah, this film has not made back it even made back its money.
Not even like the rental market.
No.
Shame.
Because I certainly didn't rent it. I found this shit it was streaming on I forgot where the fuck it was streaming. It was on like Max or something like that or something. But yeah, what are your thoughts on MacGruber? You're the one that picked it, so.
Well, I mean, I guess I kind of understand your hatred for this movie. I mean, I don't think I'm at that emotional level of hating it, but I just didn't like it. Before we started the stream, I kind of teased what the fundamental flaw of the character MacGruber is that it's like he's just not likable.
Yeah,
there's no redeeming quality. It's not like he's like this like cocky person, but he has a heart of gold or whatever. But he's just an asshole, like pure, uncut, like grade A asshole.
Yeah, he's not nice to anybody. He's not. He's cocky, but then like when he fucks up, he's blaming everybody else but himself. He is just, oh my god, he sucks as a character. The thing that like I was not liking, it was a movie where I was like, okay, this movie's bad, whatever. It was like there was a few laughs here and there. The scene that got me where I was like, this movie is fucking terrible. So we find like at the start of the movie, his girlfriend is killed by Val Kilmer's character, and then he's falling in love with Kristen Wiig's character, and he feels guilty about it, and so he's seeing the ghost of his executed girlfriend, and then he fucks her ghost in the graveyard. I'm like, that was the scene like that. So I watched this in theaters.
Oh my god! You had to watch it on a giant ass screen. Oh
yes.
My god!
My friend and I were like, we both looked at each other, like, why did we come to this? Like, it's just. Actually, former guest on Circle of Jerks, my friend Peter. Because we always went to watch movies together. We watched this because we liked the sketches, and we're like, okay, maybe this will redeem the SNL movie. And that scene, he's just like, I just heard him like, I think he threw his popcorn. He's like, fuck, because we were like I think we were the only ones at the theater at that time because I think we watched it like opening night in 2010. And I think he threw his popcorn. He's like, fuck this shit. What the fuck? For some reason, I can picture him doing that. Dude. He talked shit the entire movie. I think that was the one thing that was redeeming. It was like why we stayed. Because his commentary on the movie was so fucking hilarious that I was like, all right. Like, well, we're going to stay because you're on a roll. But, man, this movie fucking sucks. And now this time I watched it by myself, and I just like I was cursing your name a little bit, Andy, just a little bit. I was like, yeah, you got me, and I was like, oh man, next year's gonna be
sweet revenge.
Next year is gonna be pain.
Yeah, back at you, bud. Back at you.
But yeah, it's just like. Man, all these guys are like. It seems like they're on like the downhill of their career. Ryan Philippe, I mean, he's done much better, better movies than this. This is like, what has he done since? Probably nothing.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer. This is what caused his throat cancer. Why he can't talk
Yeah,
anymore? It's because of this
he had
movie.
to deliver this dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Uh,
Hey, am I crazy? Because I could have sworn Val Kilmer died.
maybe,
I don't know.
dude.
Am I living? Maybe
I
I came from a different timeline where he did die. Because like about the time when Top Gun Maverick came out, I could have sworn like
I thought he was dead. I could have sworn he was dead too. Like when I was, because I saw that documentary that came out
mhm.
about him. I was like, is he dead?
Right, but no, but like not even that. Like I could have sworn like I saw a news report saying that he had passed away, and it was just before the the release of Top Gun Maverick. And then when I went to go watch it in the theater, like it made me even like that scene where he was having with like Maverick, like that made me like choke up because like that was like because I thought that he had died.
Yeah. I mean, I know my wife cried during his
Hmm.
scene.
Right, like
But it's
their
just like,
interaction or okay.
yeah, because she's like, because I told her about the Val Kilmer
Hmm.
story, and she's like, oh my god, and she started crying about like when she saw Val Kilmer on
Oh.
screen. It's like it's so sad, which it is.
Yeah,
No,
yes, it
I'm
is.
sorry.
But
I mean,
like, am I crazy or am I
Val
just
Kilmer
yeah? Am I
is,
crazy or am
yeah,
I
it's
just from a
like,
different timeline where I remember him dying just before the release of Top Gun Maverick?
I'll be honest, I thought he was dead too. I thought he was. And I thought Top Gun Maverick was his like posthumous role that he
Right,
was in,
yeah,
but no,
exactly.
he's
Like I
still.
thought that that was like his last like role just before he passed away, and like that's why I got even more choked up during that scene when he was like, had that interaction, when he like spoke, to Maverick, and then like and then they had like, that really nice moment where he asks us like, oh, who's the better pilot, and it's like, yeah, like I kind of got a little misty eyed, in the theater.
I mean, it's like those are like his last words to
Yeah.
us. And now, granted, those probably are going to be his last words to us as the audience or fans of Val Kilmer. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, technically, that's not even his actual voice. It's like a composite.
that
Supposedly, it's a composite of like his voice, like from prior recordings, and then like also like his son, added like offered his vocals because like supposedly he sounded so much like him.
well, I'll take it as those are his last words
Right.
to us. So, but yeah, it's yeah, but no, this is this is the movie. This is the start of his
Yeah.
descent
Yeah, which is
into
sad because
throat cancer.
actually I know we mentioned it before, but the movie Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, that was like supposed to be his like kind of comeback.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like because that's one I haven't seen, but I remember hearing good things about it.
Yeah, he plays like this gay hitman.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
that's
yeah,
that's
because the character's name was Perry, and so they would call him
yeah.
Gay Perry, like gay like Gay Paris.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, like he's oh, that's right. And like I always forget about Willow that he was in
Oh
that.
yeah, that's right.
But I mean, look at like some of these like great movies that he's in. He's in Tombstone, True Romance, Heat. Although it's not great, but Batman Forever. Um, uh, he's in The Doors.
Yeah,
He plays
Morrison.
Jim
Yeah,
Morrison, which is really good. That's really good. He was in The Prince of Egypt. I don't think I've ever seen
the
that
voice.
actually.
He was the voice of Moses.
It was an
Yeah,
animated movie,
animated.
right? Yeah. Oh, he's in. That's right. He's in Alexander. I
That's right.
own
He
it
plays his dad.
digitally.
He
I have.
plays Alexander the Great's daddy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that movie. I think that's the Oliver Stone one that you were suggesting to me,
Yeah.
right? Um, yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Uh, he was in The Saint. I've never seen The
Neither have
Saint.
I. But I know that they made like this huge deal with like the car that he was driving. They did like tie in like promotional stuff.
Yeah. I mean, but like at the time, like, so you're catching Val Kilmer on like the back end of his career. You're catching Ryan Philippe. I mean, this probably killed Ryan Philippe's career. This movie. Um, Will Forte, who, like I said, he's funny, but like this is just, yeah, he's just. Will Forte plays such he plays such an unlikable guy in his roles. Like I don't know if you ever watched his show, The Last Man on Earth, which is hilarious, by the way. But yeah, he plays a similarly unlikable character. And then Kristen Wiig, like some of her movies are hit or miss. Like they're like, I'll be honest, I'm actually a semi fan of the movie Bridesmaids.
I mean, I get it. It's like it
I
was
actually
pretty
think that's
novel and like, yeah, I get the appeal, and I actually enjoyed Bridesmaids too.
yeah, it's not a bad movie. But then you get like movies like this or Ghostbusters from 2016, which is dog shit. But yeah, there's nothing about this film like that is worth watching. It has a couple of chuckles here or there, maybe, but man, it's so bad. Like at least throw in like some parodies of like better spy films that you can throw in here or whatever. But it's just like, and it's like the whole movie, you're just wanting that scene with like MacGruber trying to like do the like defusing the bomb, and even that scene sucks. Like it's not fun. Like it doesn't live up to like the 5 minute sketch on SNL at all. Like those are funny.
I've never even seen the sketches.
Dude, now that you've seen this film, I don't think you'd ever want to watch them.
I mean, I still might give it a chance because I don't have like the visceral emotional hate that you do.
What I will say, there's a few of them that are really good. One of my favorite ones was the one with Charles Barkley. Dude, you might laugh at that one. That was really good.
Okay, yeah, I'll take a look.
Yeah, check the one with Charles Barkley. I'm trying to think. There's like one other one that's just so like I was rolling. It was so funny. But yeah, this is the scene that we're waiting for in this movie. It fails to pay off. The characters suck. The dialogue sucks. Everything sucks about this film.
There's very little redeeming factors to this movie.
Yeah, I was. I'm so glad I decided not to watch the show. On top of that,
I know, because again, I mean, those of you who know, Rob is a masochist. Sometimes he's a sadomasochist, but usually he's just a masochist. He does things. No, yeah, masochist. I always get those two. If you're a sadist, you enjoy the giving of pain. If you're a masochist, you enjoy the receiving of pain. But sometimes you can be a sadomasochist. Sometimes a little bit more sado. Sometimes like when he made me watch Wizzo the Clown. That was him being a sadist. But most of the times he's a masochist, and in that he does when we reviewed the what is it the Snyder cut of the Justice League. He went and watched all the subsequent movies in the DCEU just for preparation for that.
Well, some of the films were okay.
Yeah, I mean, Man of Steel was good. I mean, and even after the Ultimate Edition came out for Batman vs. Superman, it was a little bit better.
You know what? I have not seen the Ultimate Edition.
Well, that's like an extra 30 minutes that the studio had Zack Snyder cut out of the movie.
Yeah, that movie should have been like 4 movies. I'm sorry. Yeah, not to get into that fucking film, but yeah,
Yeah, well, the Snyder cut was way better than the Josh Whedon version of the Justice League, because Josh Whedon was just turning the Justice League into the Avengers. And Snyder actually made me like the character of Flash. Like he was like
yeah,
the Flash in the Snyder cut. He was actually consequential. He wasn't just like
yeah.
he wasn't just little brother.
God, yeah. But yeah, no, this is yeah. I will go to great lengths to review a film. I'll watch the different cuts. I'll watch the remakes and all sorts of crazy. If it's a series, I'll watch the entire series just to refresh myself. But yeah, this I couldn't do it for this one. I'm sorry. I found I have a limit. I have a limit, Andy. I think you found my limit.
Who knew there could be such a thing? Who knew?
Good fucking god. Yeah, this movie fucking sucks. I think this is easily I think this might go to my number 1 most hated film of all time. It's to be honest, it's not a crowded room because there's not a lot of films that I really hate. Cop Out's on that list. Wild Wild West is on that list. Um, The Man in the Iron Fist with the Iron Fist, that's on that list. But yeah, this is fucking King of the Mountain of shit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and even
How
me,
much?
I don't even have that many. I don't even have that many the movies that I hate. Like legitimately, I hate. Like
Yeah,
there's like stuff there, like yeah, there's like stuff I don't like, or I find mildly
I
entertaining, but like actually like visceral hate. Like you only know, like you know the one I'm talking about.
know of 2. Star Wars: The Last
Oh
Jedi.
yeah,
That's
that's
your
my
number
number one.
1. But I think Wizzo the
It's up,
Clown
yeah.
might be right next to
Whistle,
it.
it's up there. It's up there. But yeah, it might very well be number 2.
Wizzo the Clown is, he's a Sith Lord.
An argument could be made. An argument could be made.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
Yeah. So yeah, let's give our. I mean, unless
let's
yeah,
rate
if
this.
you don't have anything else.
No, I have nothing else. There's nothing about this film that's like worth even talking about.
All right.
That fucking seriously, that grave. So when he's fucking the ghost of his
Dead one. Yeah.
dead girlfriend in the graveyard, that's where that's the death nail in this film. Is that scene right there? That's what took it from like being like a half star to like what I'm gonna rate it now, which is a fucking 0. This movie is a 0. There's nothing redeeming about it. The characters suck. The dialogue sucks. The story sucks. The whole fucking movie sucks.
All right.
And it's responsible for like giving Val Kilmer throat cancer.
that's now canon. That's now canon.
That is now canon.
All right. Well, I'm mostly with Robert on this one, although I'm going to adhere to the rules, and still give it a 1 out of 5, because I'm not that as emotionally tied uh, to this movie as Rob is.
if I could give it less than 0 and turn this movie into a black hole, and it sucks the other reviews and like star ratings from other films, like I would.
Gosh.
That's how much I hate this
Oh my
goddamn film.
gosh. Dramatic. But yeah, there you have it. That's our review from MacGruber. Rob gives it a straight 0. I give it a 1 because I'm following the rule. Because the 1 is the worst possible you can give on that scale. So I'm following the rules, and so
Andy, you kind of, I think you broke me a little bit this month. Now 2 of the films were okay. Like I actually didn't hate them, but The Ladies Man and this film, no, I'm never ever gonna watch these ever again. Like, see, the thing is, like, I might turn on Star or Night at the Roxbury. Like, I feel, oh, we're having a bunch of drinks and hey, let's
or
turn
you
on
just need something in the background at like a party. Yeah, you need something in the background at your party.
But The Ladies Man and this, fuck no. This will kill the party.
All right. There you go. There you have it.
Good
That's our
fucking
review
guy.
for MacGruber. Rob gives it a straight 0. I give it a 1. I think this may be the first time where we can't recommend a movie, but I don't think we can recommend this movie.
No. The Ladies Man in this film, I cannot recommend on any circumstances. I don't care how drunk or high you are. I don't care if, like, yeah. Don't ever watch it.
Yeah.
Never ever watch this shit. It sucks.
I mean, I'm in agreement. There are no redeeming factors for this movie. So
we saved you the trouble.
Yeah, we saved you the trouble. It's like it's like that Family Guy cutaway where Peter tapes over Citizen Kane, and then and ruins and like basically tells him the ending. It's like turns out it was a sled. It's like there, I saved you 3.5 hours of 3.5 boobless hours.
This movie's only like an hour and a half, and it's like I saved you an hour and a half. Don't just fucking jerk your dick for an hour and a half. Like that's gonna be like more.
Go watch Paint Dry. Go watch Paint Dry. That'll be more entertaining than this movie.
Yeah.
All right. 1 down. All right. Let's get into topics for discussion for today. I think the only one that we really have planned is talking about the Christchurch. Is it Christchurch? No.
No, not the Christchurch. It was the school, the Nashville school shooting.
Right. But it was like the school was called something. Christ something.
Maybe it was Christchurch School or something. I forget the name of the school.
Okay, we'll just go with Nashville shooting. The Nashville shooting. Shooter's manifesto was made available online through a leak, through various sources. I think one of the biggest, Steven Crowder, he broke it just yesterday, and Instagram, of course, obviously already flagged that post. But it's no surprising why media is not covering it, and social media is trying to bury it. Because it doesn't paint the right picture.
Yeah, and the thing about this is, when I heard that this was coming out, it's like, oh wow, they're going to be putting this out there. They're going to be talking about it, which is kind of important because they've been saying like, oh, once we finish our investigation, we're gonna release this stuff. That was because it feels like it was 100 years ago now, but this is back in March that this shit happened, and I do remember that happening. And then all of a sudden, like it was like the story of like the week or half a week, and then that story just like boom disappeared.
Yeah, it
and you're like, wait, what?
It evaporated.
Similar to the shooting in Las Vegas, which was what? or the
What was
the
that last
guy
bit?
running over all the people at
You cut
that.
out there at the end.
No, what I was saying is like similar to like this story just disappearing very quickly.
Mhm.
It's the same like the Las Vegas shooting a few years ago, which was now seems like 100 years ago, or the guy running over all the people at the Christmas parade.
Mhm. Oh no! It wasn't the
Um,
guy. It was the car.
oh yeah,
This car spontaneously by
of
itself
course.
ran over people.
Yeah, it's like he had no control. It was like Christine.
Right.
He had no control over what he was doing.
Exactly.
How stupid of me, of course.
Yeah. Check. Make sure check your facts.
Because it doesn't adhere to the message, and because the what this person believes in is what the ideology that's being passed around uh, in our schools, in our universities, in our mainstream media, social media, whatever, and they push this stuff, and so when you are brainwashing these young kids, telling them like that, that white people are evil, or that it's like they have what's called white privilege. They have something that they didn't earn, and because they haven't earned it, they're keeping you down, or whatever like minority or sexual class that you label yourself as. It's
Whatever protected group you purport to belong to.
yeah. So why would you think that? Well, someone who was we're not saying that they were mentally unstable because of their sexual identity. That's but I mean, well, they are, but this person was I don't remember, was she a she that was pretending?
It was a she pretending to be a he. I think we lost you there
But
for a second. Back it up. We lost you there for a second.
Am I still here?
Yeah. Well, we lost the last few seconds of what you said.
Yeah, no, I wasn't sure if like it was a he pretending to be a she,
Right.
or a she pretending to be a
pretending
he.
to be he.
Okay, so the she had been I guess uh, if what you would call radicalized by the ideology that's being spread through whatever school, and she's already mentally unstable, so she takes it to the next level. And I don't think that the mainstream media, or the legacy media doesn't want that out there, obviously, and that's why the story dies, because it's not
right, because you can't have your sacred cow going out there, gunning down, elementary age students. You just can't.
Yeah, and I love now how you have these now this is like your mainstream, so your Fox News, your CNNs, your MSNBCs, and all these people. Uh, you Now they'll plaster whatever mass shooter or whatever else that they want on the news. Kind of like, oh, who cares about the copycats? We just need to get this story out there about this horrible racist who killed all these black people, or whatever. Yeah, it's like he had a manifesto and blah, blah, and they'll plaster that all over the fucking place. But when it's one of their own ideology, and there's a lot of these people actually, and then when it's like, oh fuck, it's an Islamic terrorist, or it's this person, or it's this black guy who hates white people.
Yeah, it's a gender fluid otherkin.
Yeah, it's that shit fucking disappears into the ether, like it's like, why? Why all of a sudden, like, why is this one not something that is national news, but this other story is? Let me see what the differences are. And it's always the fucking same. Now I'm not. Now here's the thing. I would say that the quote unquote white supremacist, racist, evil, terrible bastard deserves to die. Throw him into the the electric chair. As far as I'm, or shoot him dead there. And yeah, terrible. Hate that guy. But you know what? Let's call out these people too, because they're fucking pieces of garbage too.
Right.
That
Yeah.
they're
Because they want they want to condemn the Uvalde shooter, but then like I mean practically the same thing, except like this is one of their special precious unicorns that they that you can't criticize or you can't point out obvious truths to. They go out and put a 5.56 round through a kindergartner's head, and you can't talk about it. In fact, she becomes the what is it like they were like shouting out like oh like because they said that there are 6 victims, and like everyone like there were literal people saying like she was the 7th, like because of like her victimized status.
oh my god. That's right. I totally forgot about that. It's like I was like, what the fuck? No, there's 6, and there's one dead asshole.
Mm-hmm.
God damn. Like it's just the other thing. And so okay, you expect. I just like that. Just this is why I never believe anything on the fucking news anymore, hardly. But it's on top of that, you have government corruption. They oh we didn't know. We don't know. It's only been months. We haven't discovered anything about this person. You think that like this might be something that the public might be interested in, that like you actually have something, and that like hey, this person was targeting this, and there was a whole manifesto. Here it is. If you want to take a look at it, and
Yeah, I mean, what was it like in L.A. Like I think like 10 years ago, there was that former sheriff's deputy guy, David Dorner,
yeah,
and like yeah, hit like they plastered his manifesto all over the place, like, and his manifesto actually made some sense.
yeah, well, yeah, it did,
I mean, like
but
not to say that he was correct in what he did, but I'm saying like in his manifesto, like some of the points he was making were accurate.
I'll be honest. There was some stuff in the Unabomber's like manifesto. I was like, yeah, honestly, I kind of, like what you did was evil, but I understand.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. So I get where you're coming from. I don't know. I don't condone it, but I get where you're coming from.
what was that? What was that Chris Rock bit on like OJ? And it's like talking about like all the shit that like Nicole Brown had done. It's like now, what he did was wrong, but I understand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, but yeah, man. So you have the mainstream media doing what, or the legacy media doing what they do. No big deal. Got that. We understand
Right.
that. Government fucking up, like, kind of stuff, burying stuff. So no,
Yeah. It's
and
like
because they think that people are dumb,
right.
and
It's
like,
become a meme. Like the Simpsons episode where Bart the catchphrase. But like
I think,
they superimpose the FBI's an FBI
yo,
hat on
yeah,
him. It's like say the line. It's like they were on our radar. It's like yay.
yeah.
'Cause that's what you constantly hear. It's like oh there. It's like yeah the shooter is like wasn't a clear threat, but he was but they were definitely on our radar.
Yeah, that's
It's like, well, if they're on on your radar, you should have maybe taken it more serious, because like the whole point of like radar is that you get a heads up. Like if this person's
yeah,
moving in a particular way, acting in a particular way, not to say that they're guilty of something, but the what is it the signal, or like the signature you know from that behavior should warrant a closer looking into.
Oh, and then the other thing that came out of this is like obviously the politicians standing on the bodies of the kids,
Right.
like we need
Right.
better gun control. Oh, it's like shut the fuck up
I know. So
already.
yeah, like
About that.
okay, what law is not on the books right now that would have stopped it? Out of like all the laws, like out of all the laws that are on the books, what other law would have stopped it?
Exactly, nothing.
You know? Yeah, they constantly saying like, oh, stricter gun laws. Like, okay, which one of the law, which one of these like dozens, sometimes hundreds of laws on the books, like, is not enough? Like, what's the what's the one law that what was the loophole law that enabled this person to carry out the attack?
Yeah, it's like oh well we put an assault weapons ban. We doubled down. We went double bubble on it. It's like
I know
dude, there's
we
already
triple dog dared.
yeah. It's like, what the fuck are you guys doing? It's so stupid. So you got that going on.
It's
But
like
here's why I
yeah,
think
we make guns illegal, but this law makes it illegaler.
yeah, it's like now it's an uber duper hate crime, guys. Yeah, so yeah. Uh, but I think here the more egregious thing is like the which the thing that kind of like I said, say what you will about like Steven Crowder, like maybe people like him, maybe people don't. Like I think there's some things that are a little bit troublesome with him, but uh, all the people who are bitching about how he got the scoop on this and uh, are just like, oh, how could he do this? How could he make it all about himself and blah? It's like he's not making it about himself. Like what in the reveal of like him like talking about this story was he like, yeah, he kind of like there was other people who had access to this story who people were trying to give these documents away like hey whistleblowers who are trying to put in thinking that they were going to uh, friendly flags, and it's like, yeah, we don't want it. Fuck it. It's like,
Right.
um,
it's not as though Steven Crowder was claiming that he strapped on his rollerblades and got right down to the school to check to see if the kids were okay.
yeah,
That
it's just like,
that would be him making it about himself.
yeah,
All right. But all Steven Crowder was doing was reporting, and yeah, like I have my problems with Crowder too, but like yeah, no other outlet wanted to put it out there.
yeah. Well,
Not and like not even like the conservative stronghold of Fox News.
yeah. Well, it's like, well, dude, I don't even count that as a conservative stronghold because they're not.
Yeah, I mean
The
they're legacy media.
but that's what
They're
I'm
legacy
saying.
media.
Like,
I
but
mean, as much as people want to like say, oh well, sometimes they say they say base stuff and they they hold people feet to the fire. It's like yeah, but it's like
barely.
barely.
It's like they're holding somebody's foot to the fire. It's like a heating pad.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
not actual.
I like that.
Is it
Yeah.
hot
I
enough
know.
for you?
I mean, and like maybe the only person I give credit to is Maria Bartoloma, but she's like on Fox Business, and like there's that, and
Yeah,
like she, and like during like the lockdowns and like the vaccine mandate stuff, she was the only one that really kind of tried to hold Trump's feet to the fire about like mandates and you know and and vaccines and whatever. Like
yeah.
she was like one of the only ones on Fox.
One,
One,
yeah,
one
one.
out of one supposedly conservative news network.
But even some of like the more like independent, conservative sources who are like they're like blowing Twitter up and like how pissed off they are about it. It's like why? Like because he beat you to it. Like, and that's not that honestly should not be the fucking point at this time, because we're all these people bitch about government corruption, the legacy media, and all this stuff. But then, like, when a guy that you should be like kind of in arms with in like this fight against, trying to turn the tide against the like all the big tech and media corruption, government corruption, and you have a guy that's trying to expose that, and yet you shit all over him. It's like, what is that doing? It makes them sound fucking petty.
Mhm.
It's really stupid.
Indeed.
Yeah. And that to me, that was the big takeaway. It's like, one, we have something that should be a big win for conservatives. Like, hey, we need to expose this stuff. We need to put this information out there to, like, if we are to put that fight to the ideological message that has become so ingrained in our society that we don't like. Um, and this is obviously, this is an extreme example of that, because this person was already mentally unstable, not because of probably because of more than one reason. But like, when you are mentally unstable and you cannot you buy into this sort of thing, and it essentially, these people are easily radicalized because they're mentally unstable. They hear something and they glom onto it, and they become. It's like in Rope. So you have Jimmy Stewart, who is saying kind of crazy things, right? And his students take um, his ideas to an extreme example, and they kill their supposed friend from university, and then they host a party around his dead body, and like, oh, is anyone gonna figure it out? And like, how that's kind of like this. That's kind of the same idea here, where you have these teachers and people who are saying how, oh yeah, these white people are like evil, and they took something away that didn't belong to them, and like they have all this privilege that they didn't earn. And
Which is
whereas, like,
ironic
most people,
because she was white. So where was
exactly.
her white privilege to protect her from, having
Well, but remember,
having these ideations?
but yeah, but remember, she's still a protected class. So
No, but see, that's what I'm like saying, because it wasn't about white privilege, because if it was white privilege that she was up against, then where was her white privilege that would have protected her from all this supposed ideation, and she would. And so really the what she was upset was is that she came from a poor family, and maybe during her time at that school the kids teased her, or maybe she felt was made to feel less than, whether it was like explicitly or implicitly. But she was envious of the other children's wealth, or like or their family lives were better than hers.
yeah.
And so really it was about envy. It wasn't about stupid white privilege, um, or about societal norms or whatever bullshit she scribbled in her notebook. She was
But I mean,
envious. Ultimately,
yeah,
it boils down to she was envious. She was envious of the other kids, their financial status, the economic status, their family status. Like, maybe more, she was the only kid from like a single parent family, where all the other kids had like a mommy and daddy. Because she mentioned like material things, like, oh, like, driving around in daddy's Mustang, and wearing khakis and whatever. It's like, dude, this is a diary entry of envious little girl.
yeah. I mean, that's what it breaks down to initially. But I'm just saying that when you're crazy, which he was, that's you glom onto like a certain idea, and it metastasizes, and it it turns into this.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that they don't want to have out there.
Mhm.
I mean, that in reality, that's what it's the same. it's the same thing that happens on the other side with all these people who are like, they're, oh, I want to shoot all black people because of whatever, bullshit is out there. It's like, well, yeah, like that person is crazy, and yeah, we wouldn't like necessarily like say like we're not like, oh yeah, this guy's right. I want to do what he's doing. Like,
Right.
no one's no sane person is thinking that.
Right. Only when they're asking for it.
Yeah. So
that's a joke. That's a joke. I'm just joking.
But yeah, it's like I think everyone, the legacy media, government, politicians, and hell, honestly, like even like the rest of conservative, independent conservative media who's bitching about this right now, they can all kind of go fuck themselves. It's just like, this is something that should be out there. We should know exactly why this person did what they did, and like, because the thing is, there's a reason why that stuff is being buried. So that's why you need to dig it up and show it to the light, because
right, because
it needs to be put out there.
Right, because if it was shown, yeah, because safe to say, if it was shown that a right-leaning or a conservative type person, like put out a manifesto talking about how he wanted to kill all black people, or just like kill anyone who's not white, I think it'd be safe to say that those on the right would call that out, and if there were such an issue, then yeah, we would demand like investigation, transparency, all the things. We'd want all the things. We wanted to be out there, so as to be like, yes, this person is deranged, and you know, um, but and have an opportunity to differentiate between like this person who uh, claims to be conservative or right leaning, but then having these reprehensible stances, allowing some differentiation between us and that person. I would think that that people of this the people of the shooters similar prescribers of that ideology would want the same thing, and they would want uh, differentiation. But kind of like in the early '90s with like the whole gay thing, and their vehement denunciation of pedophilia. Because the story, the link was that if you're gay, then you're a pedophile. And credit where credit's due, but the early fighters for gay rights, they fought tooth and nail to disassociate themselves with that label.
Mm-hmm.
And so, similarly, you would think that people who may hold similar, ideas or ideologies or philosophical points of view would want the that information out there and be like, oh yeah, this person is crazy. We don't believe like this stuff. But here's the rub though, because what the shooter wrote down in her journal is pretty close to like the uh, mainstream talking points for those types of people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's a bit of a catch-22, because at one point, like, yeah, I would think you'd want this shooter's words to be out there for everyone to see, to be like, oh, see, this person's crazy. It's like, yeah, we kind of we kind of go down the same ideological lines, but this is where we deviate.
Yeah,
However,
like, see, you would want to distance yourself from this person as like quickly as possible, but they don't.
Exactly. And the problem is because what this person scribbled down in her notebook, or at least like what was released by Steven Crowder and by a few others, is pretty much the mainline mainstream ideology for these people. This is pretty
Oh,
much
yeah.
what everyone believes on that side. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
to point that out, we're basically calling all those people crazy.
Yeah.
And we can't have that because that's ultimately the direction that the powers that shouldn't be are trying to push the culture.
It's wild, buddy. I just
Indeed.
the shit like yeah I this is where I really lean into my faith because honestly, like if I didn't have that, the shit that I all the corruption and all this stuff is like I would feel like there's no hope, but there is. So I can kind of just
Open Jesus.
enjoy life and like laugh it off and whatever because I know eventually it's all gonna come out right in the end,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be in my lifetime or some other or 100 years from now. Who knows?
Indeed.
But yeah, that's all I had to really say about that. Should we finish up with
Yeah.
our
Sure.
new film for the new theme of November?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Because we didn't have a second. We really didn't have. Well, we
Yeah,
did. We were going to, but it just didn't work out.
this time you can blame. It's all Andy's fault.
So it's my fault, but it's really Rob's fault. Because reasons. But yeah,
Right. Awesome.
because reasons. All right. So yeah, that'll I guess do it for topics for discussion for tonight. And we'll get into the final movie review, which will also start off this month's theme of Universal Monsters with a Twist. And we'll be reviewing The Mummy from 2017, starring what is it? Tom Cruise, Sophia Boutella, Annabelle Wallace, Russell Crowe, Jake Johnson.
Yeah.
I'll hit everyone with the synopsis and we'll get going. Okay, here's the synopsis for The Mummy 2017. Nick Morton is a soldier of fortune who plunders ancient sites for timeless artifacts and sells them to the highest bidder. When Nick and his partner come under attack in the Middle East, the ensuing battle accidentally unearths Amenet, a betrayed Egyptian princess who was entombed under the desert for thousands of years. Uh, with her powers constantly evolving, Morton must now stop the resurrected monster as she embarks on a furious rampage to the streets of London.
So yeah, this film does have the bones of potentially being a good film. It just didn't execute.
Yeah.
Uh, so first off, the first big problem: if you're gonna create like an MCU style thing, don't fucking name it right off the bat. And like where like in this like literally right after the Universal like title, the Dark Universe. Like, come on, let's be a little more subtle than this, guys.
Let's have a
Okay,
little
like
bit of humility and make sure that the first movie in a proposed universe is a hit. You know,
exactly.
because even with Marvel, like they waited until at least until the end of the movie to kind of tease at the idea of a universe with like with the Nick Fury cameo. They didn't like just put it in the beginning of the credits and be like, oh yes, this is the start of the MCU.
Yeah, it's so first. This movie also went through developmental hell. So here's how it started. This was initially supposed to be another sequel to the Mummy franchise. So this is actually been a Brendan Fraser film, kind of continuing the reboot of the successful reboot of the Mummy. That franchise, and this was going to be the fourth one. There was going to be several. They were thinking of a couple different iterations, and then Universal decided, no, we're not going to do that. So they opted to reboot. Then they brought on like one of the guys who had worked on Prometheus, and that it's like, okay, we're gonna have like this writer come on, and we're gonna have like this reimagining of this, and we're gonna do this. None of that shit happens, and they kept bringing on like different people to like write this script, and they brought on different people who were gonna direct it, and blah blah blah, and it was gonna be this or that. No, none of that worked, and then they decided to go with this idea of trying to capitalize on like what the MCU had been doing. So we're gonna like, oh well, we're Universal. We had the monster movies, and those were kind of like in like universe of films. So we're gonna we're technically the first ones who did it. So we're gonna create the dark universe. And it's so they brought on some more people that like the director that ended up being the director of this film ended up staying on with it when they finally decided to do that, and they brought on Tom Cruise to be in the lead about 2 years before the film debuted, and it turned like I think that they're based off like what I've been reading, it was like Tom Cruise seemed like to be kind of a problem too, because obviously he's done a lot. He knows how to do like action stuff, and like they're having him do all these action sequences, and he's like, well, if you're gonna have me do this, like, let me do it my way. And he actually brought on the director of like the last few Mission Impossible films, who's done a great job, and like so essentially Cruise handled all the action stunts, and it was yeah, it's just honestly like everything ended up becoming a huge mess. Like nobody seemed to be able to coordinate with each other. Everyone was like, there's so many different hands that have touched this script. There's so many different directors who have tried to put their spin on things. And what they should have been thinking is like, okay, throw all this out, and if let's pick the nugget that we want to stick with, and then let's go from there. And if you want to make it into a universe, you come up with like, okay, here is our overall arching idea. Here it is. But let's make sure that our you need to have that hook, and it's like, okay, we're gonna have the Mummy is gonna be our starting point, and we're gonna have this is what the story is gonna be, and how do we make this story? Okay, great. Now that we've established this, then you throw in maybe a few Easter eggs along the way, like maybe something somebody might not notice right away. Don't make it obvious. And then if that movie's successful, okay, we have a little nugget that we can pull from here that we can turn into something else. But make sure that you have a good cohesive script, a good a cast of characters that works together. And that's how a movie is made, guys. Like, and I'm not a professional. I think I've solved their problem. And then you don't have a 95 million dumpster fire that you lost $95 million on a film. It's like, yeah, it cost you about $200 million. You made $400 million, but that doesn't count all the marketing and stuff that they poured probably another $200 million into the marketing itself. So it's like, come on, guys, this is bad. But as far as the movie goes, what do you think of it? Like, this is what are your thoughts on it? Like,
Well, I
did
never
you
watched the movie straight through before. I'd pick it up like I'd start watching it, but then like something happens, or like I'll come, it'll like be on TV, and it'll be like towards like the middle or the ending. So I was never able to really watch this movie straight through until now. Um,
Yeah, I never watched it until now.
and so yeah, I could definitely see like there was like they were trying to run in like too many different directions. Where they should have, they decided on going one direction. Like they should have just tried to tell a really good story. That's what they should have
Yeah,
done. And like how you were saying, like they should have sprinkled in like little details here and there. And I think they try to do that at like, the monster HQ with like, the supposed like the vampire skull, with the fangs
yeah,
and like in the introduction of Henry Jekyll, that itself is an Easter egg. Um,
right.
and so
And I'll be honest, like Russell Crowe would be a great. I think he would have done great with that
mhm.
character had he been allowed to continue with it. But it goes like all the marketing that went into like, oh, we're gonna have a dark universe, and here's all the characters who are gonna play, all these actors who are gonna play it, and they had all this promotional footage of these guys who are like, oh, Johnny Depp was gonna be this. I think he was supposed to be the Invisible Man, and it's like all this shit that's like, come on, stop it.
I don't know, just worry about telling a good story. I mean, just imagine if Marvel had the hubris. I understand why Universal might have done this because they're like this company that's been around for 100 years. They have the money to do this. But imagine if Marvel back in the day in 2008 had the hubris of basically calling their shots. They pulled a Babe Ruth. Like they called their shot. They'd be like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
we got Robert Downey Jr. and we got some other big name actor here for this role, and some other big name actor for this role, and some big calling their shots, and then Iron Man was a flop. Like
it
there'd
would
be
have
no
looked like
MCU.
we would never have another comic book movie
Exactly.
ever
Exactly. So
because it would have been a
mhm.
disaster.
Right, because if they because credit where credit's due with Marvel, like they were like there's stories that they're writing the script like up until like the point where they're filming the last shot for the movie, as they're running it over to like the editors. um,
Yeah,
but what John Favreau and Kevin Feige were able to pull out from that was spectacular.
and and to be honest, I go back every once in a while and I watch the original Iron Man. It still holds up, man. It's still
Yeah,
good. It's a good movie.
exactly. Like but like I will seldom come back to this movie. Like if I again, it's one of those if I have to put something on in the background for like a party or a get together, sure.
Yeah, it's. I think that there were some like nuggets of potentially it being good. I kind of I was interested in like the story of because I know like one of the ideas is they didn't want to have it like the original Mummy about like the Mummy, kind of trying to search for his like long lost love that he was torn away from. Obviously, they made her into a woman, which to be honest, I didn't really care about. It's like that's cool, like whatever. It wasn't. It didn't feel like, oh, we gotta make sure we have a woman instead of a man. But essentially, like what happened is that Tom Cruise's character, who was kind of a smart alecky dickhead, he kind of ended up becoming the hero. He turned into a hero and sacrificed himself, and essentially turned himself into a monster so that he could defeat the enemy. But then was trying to find a way to destroy the monster within him. I think that could have been like a really cool storyline that they could have used moving forward. If they were going to have him as like, let's say, make him like the Iron Man of their universe. And it's just fuck, man. It's such a the action sequence, like the actual like danger that everyone was in, like seemed like lackluster. I didn't feel
Right, there
like
were no stakes. I
the
didn't feel like they were in any danger.
no, there was no
And I
danger
also think
at all.
they flubbed in getting Tom Cruise. Like I think Tom Cruise is too big of a name for this thing.
Who would you have rather seen in like this type of a role? Would you rather have like maybe like a no name, or would you like, or is there maybe like a lesser actor?
Call me crazy, but I think Jake Johnson, the sidekick, I think he would have been a better fit for.
Yeah, you know what? I think that would have been, and then maybe have like maybe more of a no name be his
Yeah,
sidekick. That could
yeah,
have worked because
because
that
for the type of character that Tom Cruise is playing, not to say that he can't play this character, but he's established him so much as like the good guy that and
yeah,
like
it's so
that you can't
easy
believe
to
him to be like this underhanded backroom dealing Han Solo type character.
no, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
work.
work. Although on the other hand, I could definitely see Jake Johnson pulling this one off.
Yeah, now let's say if this was, let's say, 1980 something, like after like The Color of Money or like Cocktail or Risky Business, then yeah, I could totally see like Tom that era Tom Cruise playing like this type of a
Yeah,
character.
sure.
But current Tom Cruise, hell
No.
no. That's just not it does not
Right.
work. Um,
Exactly.
and maybe it's funny because uh, there's a few characters who have gone against type that actually it really hurt their careers because they were the good guy and then they took a chance on doing something where they're not the good guy. We haven't talked about this film yet, but the original Nightmare Alley with Tyrone Powers. Tyrone Power was he was the hero in all these like swashbuckling films, and people loved him for those roles, similar to how we would think of Tom Cruise in from like Mission Impossible and all this stuff. And when he played the character in Nightmare Alley, he was a fucking asshole, and that's why like the movie ended up not doing well, and it kind of he didn't get a lot of like a lot of people were angry. It's like that's not the actor I came to go see. I didn't see him to play the bad guy. I came to him to see to play the good guy, and it turned a lot of people
Right.
off. And this, I think you're right. That is the reason why I love Tom Cruise. This is a movie that is not. It doesn't. He doesn't fit in this cog in any way. Um, and yeah, I think Jake Johnson would have been a great to cast in this role. And see him doing maybe something that a little bit more serious for him because obviously it does a lot more comedy, but he's a good actor,
Yes.
and I think he could have pulled this off.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he did like he was in the New Girl, the TV show.
That's how I got interested in him, and he's
Yeah, I
great in
love him
that.
in that role. But I think like he's capable of more. And I mean, yeah, he's done like a few like supporting stuff. Like he was like a tech in like the Jurassic World movie. Um,
Yeah.
he voiced Peter Parker in the Spider Verse movies.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I think for this role, I think Jake Johnson would have been the better lead. Um, because like him playing, I get not and then oh yeah, he was in a seldomly referenced movie, but Let's Be Cops. I enjoyed him in that. It was a comedy, but
I have yet to see
yeah,
that.
it stars him and New Girl co-star Damon Wayans Jr.
Yeah, yeah. I do. I know who stars in it. I've never
Right, right,
seen
right.
it.
Oh, I'm just for the audience. But yeah, but like
Yeah.
him playing like this morally ambiguous Han Solo type character, I could definitely see him doing that.
Oh man, I now I'm gonna have to watch that just because it's like, um, yeah, that would have been really interesting to see that. What did you think of our villain of like the what's her face?
Sophia Butella.
Yeah, what do you think of her? What do you think she did okay as the as Aminette? Were you interested in like what Aminette was as a character? Were you interested in her story?
Um, Not to be a dick, but it's. I mean, even with superpowers,
No.
it's kind of hard to take a female villain seriously. Not to be a dick or nothing. Not to be a dick, but I mean, I like the whole thing about like her jealousy for her father's love and like how she was meant to be the next queen of Egypt, but then like her daddy had another kid, a son who could carry on the line or whatever. I just
Well, I will say to their credit, so she is a super. She's not. It wasn't technically Aminet that was the villain. It was technically Set, the
right,
the
the
god,
Egyptian god of death.
the god. It was just using her as a
Okay.
vessel.
No, but he was like, but
So
yeah, but she was again kind of like we were talking about, like opening portals or whatever. She allowed that spirit to like kind of enter in to her through her jealousy for
it was very sexual.
very sexual. But like her jealousy, for the love of her father, which yeah I know got very like incesty. But like she also because she's also a jilted she's also jilted because of the new heir.
Well, she kills her
Yeah,
father, his
his mistress.
mistress, and the
Yeah, and the half
baby.
brother.
Yeah,
Um,
and then she gets like sealed in
yeah,
Mercury, which was kind of I'll be honest, that was kind of fucking cool.
yeah. I'll give him points for that. But in terms of like, I don't know. It's just like I mean, I not to say, and I like Sophie Butella. Like I loved her as the henchman villain in Kingsman. I thought she was great in that one. I thought she was
Yes.
very, I felt very threatened by her. Don't get me wrong. All right, but in this particular role, for this particular villain, I didn't feel that menaced or like afraid of her.
Well,
Even when she got her freaky god powers.
yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like because it's never explained exactly how. We never got to see like what would happen if she got a hold of like what would have happened had she gotten a hold of the stone and the dagger. Like what exactly is her
Right.
goal? Like we don't.
Well,
I don't feel the danger
well,
in her in.
it'd be one thing if she was seeking power for herself, but her role in like the that sacrifice thing is for to basically play second fiddle to the god Set, who uses the man that she picks as a vessel for Set. She even says like, oh, you would be the I would be your queen, you would be the king of this world. So it's like
Yeah,
so she's not even seeking power for herself. Like she's seeking power in an indirect way. Which
she's trying to become Starscream, not
There you
Megatron.
go. I like that. Although
Yeah,
Starscream was seeking power for himself though. But I get the analogy. I do get the analogy. But yeah, her seeking a power is very an indirect thing. It's not like she's like directly trying to seek power for her own gratification or for her own ego necessarily. It's it, it I
uh,
here's a, this is gonna sound sexist, but she doesn't have any agency.
yeah. That's what I like. I want if she. I want my villain to be the villain, not like trying to like not to try to be like second fiddle to somebody else. Like it doesn't make sense. Or if like she's yeah, the villain doesn't end up being like the real villain. And maybe like they're like I said, this is also kind of a convoluted, trying to create this universe. Is like Set gonna end up being like the big bad at the end of the
Well,
rainbow?
like, because here's the
It's
thing,
like,
because like the whole ritualistic killing of the lover is supposed to be so that Set has a vessel or avatar in this world. So
but she's the avatar for him.
I mean, not in the beginning of the movie when she's about to kill like the guy that she's riding. It's supposedly so that they say like, oh, they stopped the ritual, so Set wasn't able to come into this world through that guy, and
Yeah,
supposedly she's picked Tom Cruise's character as the new vessel. So when Tom Cruise's character eventually fulfills the ritual, finishes the ritual, and stabs himself, he's essentially taken in. He becomes the vessel for Seth, does he not?
that I think that that's kind of the idea, but it obviously it doesn't really come to fruition, and you don't feel like the danger of like what exactly that they're trying to
Well, yeah, that's
accomplish.
that's what I don't understand either. Because like, if he finishes the ritual, and he then becomes the vessel for Set, does not Set then control his body?
Yes.
But then it seems like at the end of the movie, he had full control over everything.
Well, I think he because he broke the stone before, like he kind of
Right.
I think
Okay.
he
So the
broke the
stone.
ritual to a certain
Right.
degree.
So the stone was key to Set entering his body, but for some
Correct. Yeah.
reason, because he smashed the stone, it only does it like halfway. So he gains all the powers of Set, but not necessarily
Something.
becoming
Yeah. So
Set.
he turns himself. Yeah. So he becomes like this. Yeah. He becomes like this monster that's like entrapped with you know.
Godlike powers.
Yeah. Yeah. Ancient like god powers. I don't know. It's a poorly written, convoluted story.
Yeah. Yeah. Because again, it's
I
like
mean, like I said.
it's very indirect. All the motivations are very like indirect.
Hmm. So yeah, it's not great. Not great. What did you think? And to be honest, like the other female lead is like the other archaeologist or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of
Very little
identical.
chemistry between her and Tom
No,
Cruise.
no. And then yeah, the only other character that I felt like had any like cachet was Russell Crowe and
Yeah.
as Dr. Jekyll. And the thing is, like, I almost feel
Oh.
I think they showed their hand a little bit too much with him too.
Yeah,
Um,
like they were like pretty like in promotional stuff. They were like out there with him being Dr. Jekyll. It's like, oh, okay, we know who he is. There was
yeah,
like, so there's
it's
no mystery.
it's fun. I'm trying to think like because I don't know like from what I remember the I don't know if I don't know about the original Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from the 20s. But I know the 30s and 40s version. Those are not. That's not a universal. I mean, it's they maybe Universal ended up acquiring
Mm-hmm.
those over
Right,
time.
through
But
acquisitions.
oh, you know what? You know what? Because doesn't Universal? No, Universal doesn't. Yeah, like Universal didn't own that property before. So I'm wondering if they acquired it at some
Well, I
point
think
because
those particular movies maybe, but like I think what is it? Yeah, I think the story of Dr. Jekyll. I think it's been around for so long, it's in the public domain.
Is it okay? Maybe that's what it is. Yeah, because I was thinking it was like, man, no, I remember like
Yeah, so
I think it
Universal
was
might have gained, in acquisition, attained those particular movies, but not the rights to the Jekyll Hyde character.
yeah. If you want to watch a really good Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde movie, watch the 30s version. Oh my god, that movie is really good.
Okay.
But
Um,
yeah, I feel like they showed their hand too much with him and his struggle with the
right.
power. I feel like that should have
Right. It should
like
have been
come in
teased. It never should have been. It never should have been.
a story
Yeah.
act in the
Mm.
film.
It should have been teased,
And
but not revealed. Um, backing up a little bit. Another possible casting choice for instead of Tom Cruise, John Hamm.
oh yeah, that could have been
Yeah, because
good.
especially if you want someone like a little bit older and like with a little bit more, screen presence. I mean, no
Yeah.
shade thrown to Jake Johnson, but if you're looking for like kind of like that, rugged again, like kind of like that more rugged, manly Han Solo type character, I think John Hamm would have been perfect.
Yeah, and you don't need to do as much like crazy action
Mm-hmm.
stuff because it's the Mummy for
Right.
God's sakes. You don't need like a ton of
Mm-hmm.
action. Um, and John Hamm I think would be great
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah, because I was just thinking about like why they might have picked Tom Cruise and like maybe yeah star power of course, but also maybe like just maturity. And so like if they wanted like because I mean not that Jake Johnson is a young guy, um, but I think if they wanted just a little bit more maturity, I think John Hamm would have been a pretty good casting choice as well.
Yeah, I think it could have been great. God,
Yeah, what
yeah,
could
like I
have
said,
been
this I think this could have been a good idea. I think this could have been great.
right.
I think this could have turned into something great. But you get people who are they're trying to reach it's trying to hit that 5 run home run. It's never going to
Right,
happen. You
right.
can't do it. It's impossible. Just make a good movie for one, and you okay. We have this arching idea, but let's start here. Let's focus on this film. We'll throw in a few Easter eggs that aren't like super important to the story, but then when you go back, it's like, oh, they were thinking about this. Oh, that's cool. You don't, but you leave that alone. Let this movie stand on its own, and then you build from there. Build your foundation. It's like it's funny how everyone wants to be like what Marvel, not what Marvel is
Yeah,
now,
what
but like
Marvel
what Marvel
was,
was.
yeah.
But they don't realize the steps that Marvel went to do
Right. I
that.
mean, yeah, in a lot of ways, Iron Man was proof of concept. You know, like the first four standalone movies, those were proof of concept.
Yeah,
Uh, or yeah, let me rephrase that. Phase one was proof of concept. Okay,
it
and then
was.
yeah, you do your solo movies. You make little winks and nods to the other characters, but you in the standalone movies you fully concentrate on that character only.
I mean, the weakest movies of the Phase One, maybe, and they're not really that bad, is Hulk or Iron Man 2, and those are not really bad
Mm-hmm.
films.
Right. I mean, what is it like?
But
Yeah, in Iron Man 2, they like wink and nod to, Captain America with like the shield. So it's like, oh, like we
mhm,
be on the lookout for that. But it wasn't like, he had like a statue of Captain America or like a newsreel going on in the background with Captain America and they didn't
exactly.
cut away to Captain America in the past, you know, and then bring it back to, current time.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's just all these people trying to do their stupid ass universe, and they don't know how to do it. It's like, come on, guys. You have the blueprint right here. How do you fuck it up consistently? DC, Universal.
Yeah, the
All these people.
recipe is out there. All right, it's the recipe is staring you right in the face, but you don't take it. You
Yeah,
think that you have to be different or edgy, or you have to take you have to focus on different themes, and no, just copy paste. All right, copy paste.
yeah. You put your own twist on it, like, and obviously,
Yeah,
like,
because
yeah,
your character, yeah,
people are
because
going,
your
oh, well,
characters will be your characters, but just follow the
yeah,
formula. There's nothing wrong with formulas.
it's okay. But trust me, I love formulaic movies. I mean, that's why I love all the Scream films. That's a formula. It's like
And it works.
it works. It works for me. Oh, I mean, not for
Not for
everybody, but it
everybody,
works for
yeah. But
me.
generally speaking, it works. And I mean that's who you're trying to target, the general movie going public.
Mission Impossible is formulaic. It fucking
Yeah.
works.
I mean, yeah, they do like little twists and turns, so little twists and tweaks to things, so it's not exactly like the previous movie, but they at least are it's still like blueprint. This beat here, that beat there, this surprise reveal there, big set piece action scene there. Tom Cruise wins.
Sounds like a plan to me. But yeah, this movie has a lot of flaws. I mean,
I would say, yeah, I would describe it fine but flawed.
yeah. Did you enjoy watching it?
I mean, I guess I can say I was entertained. I guess I can say I was entertained.
You were entertained? Okay, yeah. I mean, there was some entertainment. Like, I thought the plane crashing scene was pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I mean,
And
there was
like
no
the
problem.
whole and like the crows like smashing into the C-17.
That was pretty.
That was pretty cool, and it gave me a lot of
Yeah.
like Birds vibes.
Dude, yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, so like the action scenes were cool. Like I said, I think there was certain parts of the story that were interesting, but it's like it felt very, like I said, it almost felt like an anthology with all the different storylines that they were trying to slam in there, and I was interested in those stories, but they didn't all belong in the same film.
Right.
And I think we found ways that we could have done to make it a better film, and maybe continue on with the Dark Universe. But well, that's just not what we have. But why don't we close shop and give our ratings?
All right. You want to start us off, or you want me?
Yeah, I'll start us off. Yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2.5. It's not the worst. Like I said, there are way worse films than this. I think why this film gets shit on a lot. I've been finding a lot of people who are not really fans of Tom Cruise, so I think that's one. I think people at this point were tired because, like, oh, they're just trying to copy the MCU, and then, goddamn it, I mean, like, it's not like they didn't turn away from it at all. They skidded into that spin. I mean, they stamped literally after the Universal insignia. They stamped Dark Universe. Like, come on, guys, what the fuck are you doing? And it just it was a disaster. It just ended up. It was a box office flop. This should have been a lot better.
I mean, one of the few in the modern era for Tom Cruise.
Yeah, and it's like even Tom Cruise couldn't save this film. And from everything I was reading about this, is like, which makes me maybe appreciate the film that we did end up getting. It was a semi okay film, but all the switching of hands and like, no, we're not going to go this way. No, we're going to go this way, and we're going to go that way. It's like they couldn't find a direction to go. And the fact that this was supposed to be a continuation off of the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, and it turned into this, like, I don't know how they got there. Like it's just this
I mean, was it
crazy.
still supposed to be an offshoot of the
Yeah,
Brendan Fraser movie?
that was the initial idea. It wasn't until the 11th hour that they came up with the idea of the Dark Universe, and they decided to just like shit can the Brendan Fraser idea, and they went with this, and they were trying to jam this movie into like what would fit into a dark universe. Like, it's like they didn't. What they should had they come up with that idea, what they should have done is thrown everything in the trash and
Start over.
start
Yeah,
over.
start from whole cloth.
Pay the people that worked on the script, say thank you for your service, and start over. And like I said, make the money loss at the front end of like all the script writing and all that stuff. Pay those people. Get their pay them their due. It didn't become a film. Sorry, thank you for your service. And then maybe then you're only losing maybe let's say 10 million. Just to be
Really, for writing?
conservative. I they lost 95 million. What are the at this point? Like, who the fuck cares? Like,
True.
it's. But you start over. You come up with like I said, you come up with that idea. You make your foundation with this movie, and you cast well. You write a good story, and you put it out there, and it's gold. But no, they couldn't do that. They had to hold on to this. No, we're gonna make this work. God damn it! It just it's hubris. That's why they lost $95 million. It's fucking hubris. That's what cost them. And not only did they lose $95 million from all the marketing off of this, but they were marketing the Dark Universe too. So that's probably another 20 or $30 million that they lost. Getting these guys, signing them to contracts, getting all the promotional shit that they did. It's it's terrible. And I think from that we ended up getting some good movies that were the Invisible Man movie that we ended up getting was from 2020 was fantastic, but it's not part of a universe. We're going to be getting a really good Frankenstein movie here coming up with Guillermo del Toro directing. I'm really excited for that. And then, well, I mean, it's not part of the Dark Universe, but we're going to get a Robert Eggers Nosferatu film here pretty soon as well. That's going to be a really good film. But yeah, man, this is a failed attempt. 2.5 stars. It's an okay film, but it's just doesn't work.
Well, yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. This is a 2.5 for me as well. I mean, for everything that you said.
But oh god, MacGruber is sucking those stars away. And oh no, sorry, no.
Oh man. But yeah, just yeah, this movie is fine, but it's flawed. Uh, it's
will you ever come back to this film at any point?
not enthusiastically.
Yeah, same.
So, all right, there you have it, folks. That's our review for The Mummy 2017. Both Robert and I give this a 2.5. What can I say? It's a movie.
You know what? Like I said, I would say if you've never seen it, go ahead and give it a watch. See what you think. Maybe see if our thoughts on like what could have made the movie better would work. Knowing since you've heard our thoughts, go and watch the movie. See if our thoughts would work out. Maybe you have your own thoughts of what would have made it work. Other than just throwing in the fucking garbage. You know what's that? But yeah,
It's a movie.
it's not the worst movie. It's a movie.
All right, folks, there you have it. That was a stream tonight. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. I know Rob always has a good time.
It was good to be back. What are we watching next week, Andy?
That's a very good question.
Well, we have a couple of ideas. Should we go with the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
No, I wanna specifically save that for the last.
Okay, we're saving that for last. Let's do Underworld then.
Okay, all right. We'll do next week. We'll do Underworld.
The very
I forget what year it came out.
2003, I
really?
think.
That early? Jeez.
I think so.
I think so. Underworld. Series. Oh, you're right. 2003. Dang.
Yeah, I think I saw that in theaters as well.
I saw it too. In theaters.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be from 2003, starring Kate Beckinsale, of course, Michael Sheen, Bill Nighy.
All right.
So yeah, a twist on the vampire werewolf mythos.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty cool.
So, fitting in line with our theme.
I don't think I've seen it since 2003, so it'll be kind of like watching it for the first time.
Dude, that was 20 years ago.
I know.
Jeez.
All right, for its 20th anniversary, Underworld, yeah.
All right, folks, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the stream tonight. If you enjoyed it, please check out the library of other content that we have. Circle of Jerks main podcast.
Couple new episodes came out.
That's right. A few episodes did come out just before our unexpected break. Episodes of Nocturnal old episodes of Nocturnal Transmissions, of course. And Rob's Gaming Show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts, Twitter and Letterboxd at PodcastTOJ, and Instagram at Circle of Jerks Podcast. And with all that said, we thank you for joining us tonight. Come back next week and we'll do it all over again. Have a good night.
All right.